niche, very modern, and off their website, very slick. But please, Zach, let's start with you. Introduce yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Zach Amator. We're from Cleveland, Ohio. I just started doing this last year. My dad brought me into his firm that he's had for 40 years now. That's kind of where we're at. So I've been doing this for about a year now as a COO and learning all the tax, learning all the information that comes with it, and we're building it back up.
And how many team members do you have? How many clients?
Right now we have 4 team members. We have 400 clients. We're looking at purchasing another firm who's retiring and adding 1,400 more clients. So we're going to be growing exponentially. So Tax Dome and Juno are going to be an integral part of that growth.
Great, great, thank you.
Good morning, my name is Monica Barber. I'm the founder and CEO of Houston Tax Defense. I actually got into it a different way, but nonetheless, we have 300 clients. It is my baby from start. We're able to have a team of 6. We are sitting at over 50% profit margins, and we're doing quite well, and we're 100% referral.
My name is Drew Chumley. I have a firm in Fort Worth. Started it 2 years ago. We have 6 people on the team, about 150 clients. We do tax, outsourced accounting, business valuation, M&A advisory. And yeah, we've been a Tax Dome client since day 1.
Drew, or any one of us, of you, are you in a specific niche? Like, do you serve a specific niche of your clients? Like, are you in construction, startups?
We don't have a specific niche. We're pretty diversified across client base. We do kind of focus on owner-operated businesses, so they're typically closely held with 1 to 2 owners, just because that's where we feel we can really be a value add to them.
Yeah, I'd say the same for us as well. We're pretty open to anybody. Our priority is proactive tax planning, but we do the tax preparation on the back end for them as well. But it's pretty broad spectrum of the different clients we have with their businesses.
Monica, what about you?
So we have a variety of clients as well, but I will say that if you can get in it, that is a very good thing to do. So we have a lot of linemen, guys that work on the power lines, during storms, stuff like that, storm chasing. So they come with state tax returns that could be 10 for the year, and they come with a tax return, regular 1040, and Schedule Cs, and they have farms, they have all kinds of other stuff. So it really builds out more than just your average 1040.
Thank you, thank you. And the reason why I'm asking is because at the current moment we are making a big research about niche in the industry. So we will be releasing in August a report, hopefully in July, but most probably in August, a report about, we questioned I think more than 1,000 firms in which niche industry they are and how much they charge, what are the benefits of it, and then we will compare it with firms, for example, let's say Drew, which goes across the board, and then if a firm, let's say, focuses on real estate or construction, how much more they're actually charging, if you're in the niche or not. So it's going to be a very cool report, which I recommend to download once we release it, and to review and think about, okay, how many of my clients are in a specific industry, or how much I'm across industries, and maybe you make the decision to go into a specific niche industry. Let's start with a question, Zach. What do you think? What makes your firm special?
I mean, we're all pretty special in our own ways, aren't we? No, we're very. We run our stuff locally. We're very tight-knit and very family-oriented with our clients. We do serve a lot of local clients, but we have clients in all 50 states as well, and we serve them, virtually via Zoom and those kind of things. We get together. I prioritize face-to-face time with all my clients, regardless how big or small they are. It's the give back.
Do you travel to those clients? Do you travel to those clients to meet them?
Occasionally, yeah. On occasion, depending on their needs, depending on what they need to have done, or if they need to have more in-depth things handled, we do. Primarily, we visit up in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. We'll pop up there, and then we go down into Tampa, Florida. Those are our two guys that they're pretty big, and they ask us to come see them quite often. We do get some other ones that do come visit us, which is it's quite nice to have them in town, and they get to see our practice, our firm, our offices, the area around, and we take them out and show them a good time. And we like to keep that close-knit kind of vibe with our clients.
That's how you build the relationship like this. Monica, so you have been now long in the industry. You mentioned to me that you're also focusing also on tax resolution. Tell us a little bit more. How has it changed for you running a firm now for many years, and where do you see now pivoting or focusing on?
In the future, with AI and everything going the way it's going, the software and everything else, the implementation and everything is going to be so involved in the structure of the tax return and everything else that you're going to have someone who's got a strategic mind that wants to think strategy-wise. So when you get into tax resolution, as a tax preparer, you tell yourself, I'm just a tax preparer, it's going to hinder you. If you tell yourself, I'm a strategist, I'm a tax strategist. Now I've opened up my whole firm to make 3 times the amount I did before. When you come as a tax resolution specialist, now they're coming to you, and my average client is 5 to 10 years, back tax problems, and my average client owes the IRS anywhere from $30,000 to $100,000 or more. And they all referral come to me, and they ask me these questions, and how do I fix this, and what do I do, and they go to a tax lawyer, they're going to go straight to offer and compromise, they're going to go straight to things that the government's not going to approve them for that. But if you do certain things and you take on the strategy that needs to happen to fix the tax return in the first place, think for the tax preparer who did it, fix it, change it, refile it, you'll find a lot better solutions that way. And AI can help with that. And so can tax money.
So do you feel like, now we saw Juno with AI, they automate a lot of tax preparation. Where do you feel like an accounting firm should put focus on to provide value to their customers, but also generate enough revenue?
If they put their focus that way?
In which area should they put their focus on? Because let me clarify. Right? Imagine now, you charge X per return, but now you feel like you can do many returns, let's say for the 1040 with Juno, and you have this freed up time. What time how are you gonna use this time to still have kind of a revenue generating time?
So by using the tax dome, the AI, the features that are going to be in there, maybe implementing Juno, I don't know much about that one, but I want to look at it. Implementing things like that for us, it's going to open up an opportunity because we do go see clients too, and we also want to go do road shows and business conferences and stuff like that that's going to teach tax preparers how to scale their firm to the next level. When I scaled my firm to the next level, I wasn't sure what that was going to look like. I had no one telling me what to do, and I didn't know what that would do. How could I direct to tax resolution? What do you mean about that? Well, because I did make that shift, I was able to hire on a whole team of people. And for us, this may not be for everybody, we use some of that time that we now have more of to go feed the homeless, and we do other things, as well as we will also building out shows and stuff like that.
Thank you. That's very generous of you.
Yeah.
Drew, you as a startup, very modern firm, how do you utilize the time, of your team? What do you focus on that they should work on?
Yeah, so I resonated a lot with what Dave was saying earlier in his presentation. He values this client experience, and that's a lot of what we sell as a small boutique firm. It's like, hey, you're going to have a better client experience here than you have at the big guys, and that's kind of the value we bring to the table. We want to be able to interface with clients. We want to be able to be a resource to them, and so all of the busy work and the data entry that takes away from time that we have to be a value add to clients. And so anything that we can use to automate that, streamline that, and just give us that time back is just time that we're going to be able to be more accessible to our clients.
So I have a question for you. So some of our customers came to me today and said, well, I don't have all my clients in TaxDome because they don't want to use a portal, they don't want to use a mobile app. How do you handle this if you get a pushback from a client?
Everybody is on TaxDome, whether they know it or not. We have a handful of people that bring in paper documents, and so we'll scan those in and put those in TaxDome. But then anything that they're interacting with us, they're still having to interact with us in TaxDome. We don't have an alternative because we can't manage multiple places.
So would you say you go so far to say, I'm not going to take you as a client if you don't?
Yeah, I mean, if somebody doesn't want to utilize our technology, they're probably not a great fit for us.
Okay. I like this. Zach, you know as a second generation, now, how do you feel like you have changed the firm from your dad, how he was running it, or still running it a little bit, and what are you changing in the firm now where you feel like this is how a modern practice should look like?
Sure, yeah, absolutely. When I came on board last May, we were generating, tax prep revenue. Not a lot of tax planning was being done. We were breaking even. I think about the time I came on board, my dad was funding the company personally from his own pocket to pay payroll because there wasn't, and the bills, there just wasn't enough revenue coming in. And I love my dad. He's 69 years old. He'll be 69 at the end of this month. But he's ready to retire. He's ready to hang it up. And that's why he brought me on. And so he's got something to leave behind for myself, my family. As I grow, I'm married, and thank God I don't have kids yet. But we got time there.
That's, by the way, his wedding picture back
So when I came on board, my biggest priority was to take a look at, how can we bring on more revenue? But then how can we do that with technology, right? And again, with him being 69, I was born in 95, so I had the luxury of seeing how things were done the old way compared to now seeing how things are done in the future, so to speak, with technology. And I respect everybody who does the whole handshake agreement thing. That's fantastic. It's how businesses were built, it's how America was put together. But at the end of the day, nowadays, we can get things done so much faster. And that gives us, like Drew said, more time with the clients, more of that client experience with us that they don't get with TurboTax or, H&R Block or, whoever they use. But taking that zero revenue that we had after expenses and putting $500,000 into our year-end bank account was a big turnaround that gave us a lot of the things we needed, leaning into the AI that's out there, leaning into the technology that's out there to help us streamline things and modernize things, allowed us to get back in the saddle with tax planning. And we're on pace to do the same thing again this year. Like I said earlier, we're picking up another 1,400 clients. If my projections are right, and the technology that you guys are bringing us with TaxDome and Juno, by the end of next year, our projections are around $10 million, and that's huge.
You're an accountant, I hope your projections are
I hope so too. Otherwise, I got a lot of tax amendments coming up.
Talking about AI, Drew, besides now, forget Juno now, how do you motivate your team, or how do you use AI daily, or by yourself to help you get or become more efficient?
Yeah, so I would say we're early adopters of AI. We've been using ChatGPT for a couple years now.
ChatGPT is a lifesaver.
Right.
Use it.
And so, we were paying, whatever, $1,500 a year for a tax research tool through CCH, and it's like, it was painful to use. I couldn't find answers, and 90% of the time I was Googling to get like close to go find what I needed to find. Now with ChatGPT, I can find that in 5 minutes. And so, you know, just kind of streamlining access to information. And then leaning in, you know, we have data, we need to get it into a spreadsheet. It's like, okay, well, instead of sitting here and painfully typing this out, transferring it into Excel, I can run that through ChatGPT and have a spreadsheet done in 5 minutes. And you know, we've started using Copilot a little bit with the Microsoft. We're a Microsoft shop, and so, you know, even just this last week, it's like I needed to find an email that was like from 2 years ago, and it was like, hey, find every email from this person, and it was like, here's a summary of every email that I've had, you know, correspondence with this client for the last 2 years. And so just little things like that increase efficiency, and we're super excited about Juno coming on and, you know, being able to utilize this data entry tool. And I think just, you know, seeing like the direction of things in general. You know, last year I went to AICPA, the AICPA conference, and it was like maybe 10% of the floor was AI, you know, based. This year was probably 70 to 80%. It's like there's audit tools, there's, you know, AI GLs, there's tax tools, like everything is moving in that direction. And so I think, you know, from our standpoint, it's going to be kind of like you did with Juno, and it's like, you know, you evaluated all of these softwares out there, like which one is the best. Like, it's going to be the same exercise of like, you know, there's 10 options. There's going to be, you know, a handful that kind of sort themselves out at the top as the best option. So just trying to evaluate like what makes the most sense for our team.
And based on your experience going to the conference every year, how many of those do you think they will be there again?
Right, I bet next year it's half.
So I'm asking because usually when you go to a conference, you see all those fancy booths, and then you purchase maybe the product, maybe not, and you want to make a second opinion next year, and then you go and then they're not even there anymore. So always but get your second opinion. If you buy a product, I always recommend, hey, can you connect me with one of your customers? I would like to talk with someone. And usually this is where it's win or lose. Because if they say, actually, I don't have someone, or connect with someone, they say, you know, then it's usually a red flag, and, you know, I wouldn't recommend going for the software. I just wanted to share also, because how I utilize AI, it's really cool. So what I did is, in Miami, we had the same panel discussion just with other people, and there was a recording of the panel discussion. I took the transcript, I added it into GPT and said, hey, depending on the transcript, with the most engaging questions, now create a better panel discussion for today. And it's just so cool reading the questions. Monica, can you share one key area where TaxDome helped your firm improve?
Workflow. I would definitely say workflow. And AI is scary to a lot of people because of the changing and the technology. But using the AI and learning it and just taking the time to do it, and the implementation that TaxDome has already done has helped us, because we can now keep up with that project. Ours are more project-based, and that's what I was explaining to you earlier. We were talking about that. So we do 5 years, and we have 5 tax returns, and so it helps us to stay on target and keep our workflow going.
When you say workflows, tell us, or do you want to guide us through one pipeline which you believe it's very good set up? How is it set up?
So we have ours set up by year, 24, 23, 22, 21. Of course, we do amendments, we do bookkeeping for our linemen who owe a lot of money, so we make sure the books are done correctly because of audits. So we do a lot of audit resolution. So I have to always CYA, make sure that you protect yourself. You want to make sure everything's where it's supposed to be. You got to make sure the amount on the financials is what's going to go into the P&L. You need to make sure and dot your I's. So with all of that information being implemented into TaxDome, it allows us to be more efficient because all the data is stored right there. We can pull it out if we need it. Like you said, pull it into ChatGPT. We do that a lot. We use ChatGPT on a lot of things like that if we need to create an Excel. Like he said, it was amazing points you gave these are all things that probably none of us were taught, I don't think. And so I think it's a wonderful opportunity for y'all to be able to hear and like the AI tools, take advantage of them, not all of them, but take advantage of them because they do help in tax Dome. Implementing it is really going to help everybody next year spend more time with their family.
Yeah, don't be like my dad and comb through the IRS tax code, 700 million pages by hand with a highlighter. ChatGPT will give you the code.
Yup.
Drew, tell us a little bit. Do you want to guide us through a pipeline you have set up at TaxDome for your firm?
Sure. So I would say we were pipelines was new this year. So like I said, we've been on for 2 years. The first year we basically utilized TaxDome for our engagement letters and billing, and then as our client portal. It took a little bit to get through the pipeline process and like figure out how to make it really efficient. We had some, but they didn't really work great. And so this year, we really refined that. And so we have 2 pipelines. We have an individual kind of tax prep pipeline, and we have a business return pipeline. And so I would say the key to having like a really efficient pipeline is having really good tagging. For anybody that uses TaxDome, that's like kind of the critical piece that makes it work. And so, it's really easy to say, okay, well, here's this pipeline, and I need to have intake, I need to have prep, I need to have review, I need to have delivery. But for us, right, there's more decision points along that line. And so this year was really nice. We kind of had I set up like a staging column, and it was like, so I know that my individual is like, I'm not going to ask for stuff on 1/1 because nobody has it, but I want to send out like an email and send out the organizers maybe like 1/15 or 2/1. And so I had everybody like queued up in this staging thing, and then I could just move all those to the next stage, and it sent out my organizers into my doc requests. And then it's like, okay, well now I know I'm waiting on info. And so we had a stage for waiting on info. Once the docs came in, okay, I went to prep. Okay, well maybe we got into prep and we decided that we're still missing some stuff, so we have a stage for that. Or if we didn't, then it could go over to review. And so I think, kind of building in, like we have stages that some things may never hit, but if it's tagged like open items, like it'll go into this other stage in the pipeline. So I think kind of building out, at least for me, it was nice to have it built out like where there's some contingencies of like there's some options for where this could go, but it doesn't have to go through every stage.
Okay, I like this. I want to touch a little bit around pricing. So I think all 3 of you do flat fee. Monica, do you do a flat fee? Yeah. Who bills not for a flat fee? Who has hourly tracking? Please raise your hand. Okay. I'm curious, why?
We have a mixture. We have some flat fee and some hourly, depending on what it is that we're doing.
Okay.
Yeah, there are some clients who deserve to be charged on hourly.
Yeah. If we have a mess come in and we don't know how long it's going to take to unwind it, they're getting billed hourly.
Yeah, exactly.
So I guess to the point what I want to get to is when you charge those flat fees. So Drew, for example, let's say for example, through AI, you're gonna free up even more time now for your team. How will you change your pricing or your packages to generate more revenue through this freed up time?
I mean, I think as a small firm, right? Like, there's a lot that falls on all of us, right? We're supposed to be out there selling the work, doing the work, reviewing the work, being a resource to the client. And so I don't know that we'll change our packages per se. I think kind of keep the same packages, but it's going to definitely give us more bandwidth, and it's going to allow us to go further on the number of people that we have instead of having to go. Okay, well, I know that next year I'm going to bring on 100 new clients. And it's like, okay, well, instead of going to hire 2 people to handle those 100 clients, okay, well, now I have some tools in the toolbox that are going to kind of allow us to take on that extra revenue without having to add a significant amount of cost. And so, maybe instead of increasing prices and driving revenue that way, we're going to bring on more clients, and ultimately our bottom line is going to go up.
Okay. Okay, so you will go in the direction of adding more clients to generate more revenue. Like, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, so our big focus is again on proactive tax planning, and I'd love to keep our tax plans, our fees for tax plans the same if we can. But ultimately, it's going to allow me to do more in the tax plan for those clients that do need it. Unfortunately, things have costs that are outside of my control with tax planning, so some of those prices may go up, but it may not go up on the scale that it's going to hurt the client's pocket. It's also going to allow us to free up time for just our prep clients and set a standard, a flat rate fee for them for years, I'd imagine, without, pray to God that inflation doesn't hit as hard as it has in the past few years, but it's going to allow us to keep those prices the same. Past couple of years, we've slowly, incrementally raised our standard 1040 fees, our standard business return fees, just because we have to keep up with costs, and having more time to be able to get them done is going to allow us to hold those steady while we make the majority of our money on tax planning and those fees that are involved there.
So, for those who are not in beta, we're currently releasing our packages and our proposals, where you can set up 3 different proposals, and there will be also the option for an add-on. And why I'm bringing it up is because the last time at the other conference, I talked with many firms, and they were saying that instead of adding more clients, they want to increase their ACV, so the average contract value of their clients. So what they're saying is, I have so many clients, I know they would like to talk with me more, to do more consultation for them. So the freed up time I'm getting now is I'm just going to give them another higher tier package or an add-on where I'm going to charge, let's say, $600 per hour for consultation. And they say, okay, if every one of my, let's say, 300 clients book this, but it's already 30K per month more. So there are different ways how you can increase your revenue. One way, obviously, is you can utilize the freed up time to add more clients. But the other one is if you say, hey, I'm happy with my clients and I want to increase the retention to say 100% every year they stay with me, then I'm going to just charge them by talking more to them. And it seems like it's working. I've now talked to several firms. That's, by the way, the privilege of running a software. You can talk to many accounting firms. And they say that it's been working very well, where the clients say, hey, thank you so much for taking the time, and I'm ready to pay for it. So think about it. What is the direction? If you feel like, hey, I don't want to onboard more clients, think about your clients if you are taking the most potential out of them. Now, positively.
Yeah, we started doing a little bit of that last year. Obviously, my dad's 69, he's getting ready to retire, that kind of thing. I was kind of the firewall between him and every single client who wants to see, where's Tony, where's Tony, where's Tony? I gotta talk. Well, no, you're gonna talk with me. You don't talk to Tony, you gotta pay for that. And we finally put a consulting package together. If they want to spend time with Tony directly, they have to pay. It's not crazy, but it's a substantial amount that he thinks is fair for his time. And he's the brains behind everything. He's kept this practice around for 40 years. I'd like to keep it running for 40 more if I can. But I mean, keeping him from burning out, I can take the burn. If I can keep him from burning out and keep him around as long as I can, I think we'll retain as many clients as we can and provide, still be able to provide.
I've seen this, by the way, several times now, where firms, when they create the packages and their pricing, they say, this package gives you only contact or communication with a junior professional. But if you want to have the senior professional in the office, then you have to go for the gold package. And it's not so uncommon.
Yeah, we have our standard tax prep clients, they have the office phone number. If they're a tax planning client, they have my cell. If they pay to speak with Tony, they have my cell phone number, and I set their meetings with Tony when they want to sit with Tony and have those meetings. And it's been a godsend on him. He's taken more days off in the past year than I've ever seen him take, and if I can do that for him, that's fantastic.
Have any one of you thought about, I'm bringing this up now because another firm told me, they're not picking up anymore the phone. So if you don't have a scheduled session through Zoom or Google Meet, and you haven't paid for this consultation session, they're not talking to their clients. What do you think about this approach?
I'd love to be able to do that. No, we still do answer the phone at the office. I am picky with my cell phone. If somebody's calling me and I'm doing something else, I'm not going to bother. Leave a voicemail, I'll get back to you. Again, at the end of it, before this, I was a paramedic for 10 years. Nothing we do is an emergency. Nobody's dying. I don't care how many tax lien letters you have. No one's coming for you. It can wait until tomorrow, I promise. So that's kind of how we've been picking and playing. If anybody calls into the office and they can't get a hold of me and they want to set a meeting, we set them a week out. Give me some time to review your situation. Let whoever answers the phone at the office what you want to talk about, and we'll set you out a week and we'll talk to you in a week and we'll discuss it then.
But another opportunity. Price this also. If someone thinks that they're dying because of their taxes, well, then charge for it. Hey, you want to talk with me within a window of 2 hours? Well, then double the cost. That's absolutely okay.
Yeah, I was going to say, we don't have packages per se, but we're pretty high on our tax fees, solely because we sell that, hey, you're going to have access to us. And I think that, having these tools and this technology helps us be able to deliver on that, and also helps justify these prices, right? We do charge more. We tell people up front, hey, we're going to be more expensive than probably whoever you were with, but if you want to pick up the phone, you're going to just talk to somebody. And that's, everybody's complaint is I can't get a hold of my CPA.
That's right.
And don't get me wrong, everyone has their own approach. I'm just talking from my perspective. I'm very tech savvy. I don't mind to talk with no one the whole year, Unfortunately, it's my job now. But if my accountant tells me, hey, do this on the portal, do this, upload that, and sign it and pay, I'm super fine with this. And if I really have a question, now I got married, now I purchased something like a real estate or something like this, well then I'm ready to pay for his time, because previously I paid X amount of dollars for his services. Now I need extra service. Well, my mind automatically tells me, okay, I'm gonna pay for this. So just from the perspective, think about that. I personally don't believe that this old school client will exist much longer, where they come to the office and bring those things. The future clients are digital entrepreneurs who run their whole business on their phone, most probably. So they expect also from their accountant that they have the accountant in their pocket and can do everything. I pick up my daughter from school, I answer, organize her. I wait at the doctor, let me sign something or pay something. And we human, we already trained for this. We see this in Amazon or Uber. What do they tell you the whole time? The order got shipped, it's on the way, arrival in 2 days. The Uber is on the way, 3 minutes away. It's waiting in front of your building. We already trained to get non-stop updates. And that's, for example, for TaxDome. I don't know who of you uses the client-facing job status. I love this feature because I always know what the status is of my return. So I don't have to call someone and say, hey, you all know how often do people call you and say, hey, what's the status? So just check on your app. It's like you trust Uber too, why you don't trust my app? So think about in this direction, the mindset of your clients are changing. What's one thing you wish your clients knew about your work?
I just want to make sure I answer it clearly, as in on the client side, what they need to do to help with our end of the work?
No, what do you, it's more like emotional question. What do you feel like they don't even know what you're doing for them, but you wish they would know, that they appreciate even more that they do?
The updates, things like that, those things are very crucial for the clients. I know that myself, when I came to TaxDome, that's probably one of the biggest features that I was looking for, is that the client would know where we are in the stage as we go along. We send notifications, we do that. in the chat, you know, say, however they set it up, but we do that. We're always upgrading our pipelines too. So that's something that needs to be really thought about, is that because y'all are constantly upgrading TaxDome, we need to do the same, and the features will work for you. And it gives the information to the clients. That's the only thing myself, like for my industry, I wish TaxDome had two things: a timeline, the actual timeline of the case, or the long part of it, and maybe a tax planning module or something like that in there. That would be pretty awesome for my clients.
I mean, tax planning, we're not gonna do it. But we actually we will be releasing a work forecaster, which is first in, first out, and then you will be able to see, you know, if you take on your clients and you onboard them and they you know, they sign up for a service, let's say for 1040, you will be able to see per team member, per month, per time, how much you are in capacity. And then this will tell you, okay, let's say Drew come in first, he's coming out first, obviously, and you will see all the statistics and the capacity inside TaxDome. So we're working actively on this. Okay, so Zach and Drew, since you are now taking over a new firm, you run it for 2 years. What's the biggest opportunity for firms in the next 5 years?
You got it? Shit, I don't know what you want to do this too.
I think there's a huge opportunity in the marketplace, right? There's the baby boomer generation like continues to be retiring, and so there is just an enormous number of firms. And I've talked to Peter before, and he's like, we get a call, you know, weekly of some firm that is coming off TaxDome because the owner retired or died or, you know, whatever. And so I think there's this huge opportunity of work out there to go get, and I think you know, the technology is coming along to make it possible to go get that work and do the work, and so I think, you know, it's just never before have we had the technology and kind of this huge, you know, reshuffling of work out there to be done, and so I think that there's just a great opportunity for people to, you know, leverage technology, be on the front line of that, and be able to do it really profitably.
Before you answer, Zach, I want to let you guys know we have around 10 firms per month who cancel because they're retiring. And all of them text us or me personally first and say, hey Peter, do you know someone? I would like to sell my firm, and so on. And we are building, by the way, right now a marketplace where people can say that they're selling, and people who are interested to buy it, they will be on the marketplace, but you know, this is upcoming. But don't let those private equities take away your industry. As Drew said, you have the technology, you have your firm automated. Zach is getting 1,400 new clients on it, and he's not afraid of it. Like maybe 5 years ago, you would have said, oh man, 200 more clients, I can handle that. Like there are firms, only at TaxDome, we have more than 100 firms selling per year. Just look out in the market. Rocky, who is coming later to the stage, he's also buying a firm, like, and he's in his early 40s. and never, don't think too much at what stage you are in your business or at what age you are. There are a lot of firms who want to get rid of their clients, and those firms most probably are not automated as you are. So there's a big opportunity. If they're not using anything with TaxDome, or they have hourly billing and all these things, just imagine how easy it is for you. If there are 1,000 clients, imagine 10 will churn, 10% will churn, so you have 900 clients you can take on a flat fee and run the same process like your current clients, and you have doubled up your revenue. And you have your ROI most probably within 2 years again. But you know, if this is something, you know, you can take with you today, don't let the private equity take away your industry. You have the tool set, and banks are giving you this capital for very low interest. Rocky can share more later if he wants to do those things and really stand up and own this industry. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I'd agree with you guys. Technology is going to be the biggest key moving forward, as it is with any industry. I mean, everything's so technologically advanced nowadays, as compared to like when my dad was running things. It's just easier to get things done now. But again, giving you more time for that client interface. And I found, you know, with talking with people who want to sell their firms, they don't just want to dump off their clients, they want to give them to somebody who's going to take care of them, is the difference there. And being able to do that and being able to automate as many things as possible, you know, letting AI not necessarily take the wheel, but take that load off of you so you can focus on the client is one of the bigger things out there. And I know Fireflies, I use Fireflies for every client meeting I have, and I don't know how many of you use some type of audio recording with your client meetings, but there's clients I haven't seen in 6 months, just because it's the nature of how they operate, which is totally fine. Like, if I don't see you for a year, I don't see you for a year, cool, send me your stuff, we'll talk. Like, not an issue. But to have a little Cliff Notes summary from Fireflies that I'm not going to sit there and read the whole hour-long transcript. It gives me a little Cliff Notes, Reader's Digest version, like, hey, this is what we talked about. Here's the action steps that I was supposed to take over the past 6 months. Let me check. Did I do those things? No? Cool. Let me get that done before I meet with them again. You know what I mean? It's fantastic. I forget what I did yesterday. I'm not remembering what you and I talked about 6 months ago. You know what I mean? But having that, it gives me more ability to take care of you because of technology. I'm not going and sifting through notebooks. My dad's got notebooks on notebooks on notebooks on notebooks on legal pads, got a whole file cabinet full of them. I couldn't tell you when they started and when they end and what's in the middle. I have no idea.
Great point. A little spoiler. We're integrating with a note taker, and the summary will be automatically added to the notes section of your client inside TextDome.
That would be
so
huge. That's
we're
huge.
working on this right now.
That is huge.
All right. Well, this was great. It's lunchtime. Zach, Monica, Drew, thank you so much for taking the time. Thank you for listening, and let's get some lunch. Thanks for having us.